The blue light from the computer screen lit up Captain Jake Morrison's face as he sat in the command chair of Earth's Herald. Outside the windows, Jupiter's massive form slowly turned, its red spot clearly visible against the orange and white clouds. Jake had been staring at the same readings for the past hour, checking fuel levels and system diagnostics. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. His coffee had gone cold in the cup holder next to him. Jake reached for it anyway, making a face at the bitter taste. Space coffee never tasted as good as the stuff back on Earth, but it did the job of keeping him awake during these long survey missions. The ship was quiet except for the soft hum of the engines and the occasional beep from the control panels. His crew of 23 people were either sleeping or working in other parts of the ship. Lauren Fisher, his diplomatic officer, was probably reading in her quarters. Kyle Bennett, the chief engineer, was most likely tinkering with something in the engine room. And Patrick Cole, the security chief, was definitely in the gym. That man never stopped exercising. Jake yawned and stretched his arms above his head. 3 more hours until his shift ended. 3 more hours of watching Jupiter spin and checking that nothing was broken. He wondered, not for the first time, why he had joined the space program. Then he remembered the view of Earth from orbit during his first mission, and he smiled. That was why. A sharp beep made him jump. The communications panel was flashing red. Jake sat up straight, his heart beating faster. Red meant priority signal. Red meant something important. He pressed the button with slightly shaking fingers. Static filled the bridge, then a series of sounds that definitely were not human. Jake felt his mouth go dry. The sound continued for maybe 30 seconds, then stopped. The computer began processing, trying to decode whatever message had just arrived. Jake hit the ship-wide intercom. His voice came out steadier than he felt. All senior staff to the bridge immediately. We have received an unknown transmission. Within 5 minutes, Lauren, Kyle, and Patrick were standing around his chair, all staring at the computer screen as it worked. Lauren had thrown a jacket over her pajamas. Kyle's hands were stained with engine grease. Patrick still had a towel around his neck from the gym. Is it them? Lauren whispered. Everyone knew what she meant. For decades, humans had been listening for signals from space, hoping to find other intelligent life. Has to be, Kyle said, his voice excited. Nothing natural makes sounds like that. The computer beeped again. Text appeared on the screen, translated into English. Jake read it aloud, his voice shaking now. Greetings to the people of Earth. We are the Galactic Council representing 847 species from across this region of space. We have observed your recent achievement of faster-than-light travel. We invite you to send representatives to Harmony Point Station for a peace summit. Come as you are and let us meet as friends. Coordinates attached. No one spoke for a long moment. Patrick broke the silence with a laugh. Well, that's not what I expected to happen today. Lauren was already pulling up the coordinates on another screen. It's real. The location is about 6 weeks away at maximum speed. Jake, we need to contact Earth immediately. Jake nodded, still staring at the message. 847 species. Humanity was not alone. Not even close to alone. Kyle, get us ready to head home. Lauren, start composing a message to Earth Command. Patrick, wake everyone up. I think sleep can wait. The next few weeks on Earth were crazy. The message from the Galactic Council was broadcast worldwide. Some people celebrated. Some people panicked. Most people just felt overwhelmed. Aliens were real and they wanted to meet. The United Earth government worked quickly to put together a delegation. They needed people who could represent all of humanity in just 12 spots. It was an impossible task, but they tried their best. Ambassador Claire Watson was chosen to lead the group. She was 52 years old with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She had spent 30 years in diplomatic service, negotiating treaties between countries. Now she would negotiate with aliens. The thought both thrilled and terrified her. The team included scientists, artists, and cultural representatives. There was Vincent Gray, a historian who specialized in human conflict resolution. There was Colonel Henry Shaw, a retired military officer who knew about defense and strategy. There were doctors, engineers, and teachers. Each person had been carefully selected for their skills and temperament. They met for the first time in a conference room in Geneva. Claire looked around at the faces, seeing nervousness mixed with excitement. These people would make first contact with aliens on behalf of all humanity. No pressure at all. Thank you all for accepting this assignment, Claire began. I know this is strange and scary, but it's also the most important thing any of us will ever do. We need to show these aliens who we are as a species. We need to make a good first impression. Vincent raised his hand. He was 60 years old with white hair and thick glasses. Do we know anything about these aliens? Their culture? Their biology? Claire shook her head. Very little. We've analyzed the transmission signal. The mathematics suggest they've been spacefaring for thousands of years. Their message emphasized peace and non-aggression. That's good news. They also said to come as we are, which we think means they want to see us naturally, not pretending to be something we're not. So we just act normal? Asked Ryan Carter, a young diplomat fresh out of university. He looked barely old enough to drink, let alone represent humanity to aliens. Exactly, Claire said. Be yourselves. Be honest, be friendly. Show them the best of what humanity can be. The next few weeks were spent in intense preparation. The delegation studied everything known about space, alien possibilities, and first contact protocols. Scientists gave lectures about possible alien biologies. Psychologists talked about communication barriers. Linguists discussed the challenges of translation. What they learned was interesting. Most theories suggested that intelligent aliens would probably have evolved from prey animals rather than predators. Predators tended to be solitary. Prey animals formed herds and communities, which eventually led to civilization. This meant the aliens might be naturally peaceful, possibly herbivores, and probably not very threatening. This made everyone feel better. Colonel Shaw joked that maybe they should bring vegetables as gifts. Everyone laughed, though Claire noticed the tension in the room had eased. They also practiced diplomacy. They held mock negotiations, learned proper greeting protocols from different Earth cultures, and memorized facts about humanity's greatest achievements. They wanted to emphasize art, science, cooperation, and peace. Earth's violent history would be acknowledged but not emphasized. No need to scare anyone with talk of wars and weapons. Lauren Fisher joined the delegation as their communications expert. She would be responsible for managing all interactions and making sure nothing got lost in translation. She spent her time learning about body language, tone, and cultural sensitivity. Remember, she told the group during one training session, communication is more than words. It's how we stand, how we move, how we look at people. We need to be aware of everything we do. Patrick Cole was assigned to the security team for the mission. He would not be part of the delegation that met the aliens, but he would be on the ship, ready to protect everyone if needed. He spent his time running security drills and planning evacuation procedures. Just in case, the night before departure, Claire could not sleep. She stood by her apartment window, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere up there, beyond the stars, she could see aliens were waiting. Real aliens, not the monsters from movies or the little green men from jokes. Real intelligent beings who had built civilizations and traveled between stars. What would they look like? How would they think? Would they find humans interesting or boring? Would they be friendly or suspicious? There were so many questions and so few answers. Her phone buzzed with a message from Vincent.
Can't sleep either, it read.
She smiled and typed back. Too excited. Too nervous. Both at once. Same here, Vincent replied. See you at the launch pad. Let's go meet some aliens. The next morning, the delegation gathered at the spaceport. Earth's Herald had been prepared for the journey. The ship gleamed in the sunlight, fresh paint covering the hull. Inside, the crew had prepared 12 cabins for the delegation, each one comfortable and private. Captain Jake Morrison greeted them at the airlock. Welcome aboard. We're honored to be taking you on this journey. We'll do everything we can to make sure you arrive safely and comfortably. Claire shook his hand firmly. Thank you, Captain. We're putting a lot of trust in you and your crew. Jake grinned. Don't worry. I've been flying ships for 15 years. Only crashed twice, and both times everyone survived. He paused, seeing their faces. That was a joke. Bad joke. Sorry, I'm nervous too. That broke the tension and everyone laughed. They boarded the ship, stowing their luggage and settling into their cabins. The crew ran final checks. Earth Command sent their final clearance. Everything was ready. Claire strapped herself into a seat in the passenger area. Through the window, she could see Earth below, blue and beautiful. Soon they would leave it behind for 6 weeks, traveling to meet aliens. Her heart pounded. 6 weeks in space changed a person. Claire had learned this on her 3rd day aboard Earth's Herald, when she floated past a mirror and did not recognize her own reflection for a moment. The delegation had adapted to ship life. They ate meals together in the mess hall, exercised in the small gym, and spent hours talking about what they might encounter. Now, finally, their destination appeared on the screens. Harmony Point was nothing like Claire had imagined. The station was enormous, maybe 20 kilometers across, shaped like a flower with multiple petals extending from a central core. The entire structure seemed to glow with a soft blue light. Parts of it looked like crystal, parts like metal, and parts like something organic that had been grown rather than built. "Beautiful," Lauren whispered, standing next to Claire at the observation window. "It's actually beautiful," Jake's voice came over the intercom. "Attention all passengers. We're beginning our approach to Harmony Point. We've been given docking clearance at Bay 7. Please return to your seats and prepare for docking procedures." Claire's hands were shaking as she strapped herself in. This was it. In less than an hour, she would meet aliens. Real aliens. She took deep breaths, trying to calm herself. Around her, the other delegation members were doing the same. Some looked excited, some looked terrified. Most looked both. The ship shuddered as it connected to the docking port. Air hissed as the systems equalized pressure. Green lights appeared on the control panel. They were docked. They were here. Claire stood and smoothed down her suit. She had chosen a simple blue outfit, professional but not too formal. The others were dressed similarly, everyone trying to look approachable and friendly. "Okay, everyone," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. "Remember our training. Be polite, be calm, and most importantly, be yourself. Ready?" They nodded. Vincent adjusted his glasses. Ryan fidgeted with his tie. Colonel Shaw stood perfectly still, years of military discipline keeping him composed. Lauren checked her communication device one more time. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. Beyond it was a corridor that looked like the inside of a pearl, all smooth curves and shimmering surfaces. The lighting was soft and came from everywhere at once with no visible source. The air smelled strange, like flowers mixed with something metallic, and standing in the corridor was an alien. Claire's first thought was that it looked like a deer mixed with an octopus. The alien stood on 4 legs, each ending in delicate hooves. Its body was covered in soft fur that shimmered between green and blue. But where a deer would have a head and neck, this creature had multiple tentacles that moved independently, each one tipped with what looked like an eye. The whole being was maybe 5 feet tall and radiated an odd sense of gentleness. "Greetings," the alien said, its voice coming from a small device attached to its body. "I am Zilnoth, coordinator of Harmony Point. Welcome to our station. We are honored by your presence." Claire stepped forward, very aware that everyone was watching her. She had practiced this moment 100 times, but none of her practice had prepared her for the reality of standing in front of an actual alien. "Thank you, Zilnoth. I am Claire Watson, Ambassador for Earth. We are grateful for your invitation and excited to meet you and the other members of the Galactic Council." She held out her hand for a handshake, then realized the alien might not understand the gesture, but Zilnoth extended one tentacle and gently wrapped it around her hand. The touch was warm and surprisingly soft. Claire smiled, relieved. "Please follow me," Zilnoth said. "I will show you to your quarters and then we will begin the welcome ceremony." The delegation followed Zilnoth down the corridor. Claire noticed that the alien moved very smoothly, its hooves making almost no sound on the floor. As they walked, they passed other aliens. Each one was different from the last. Some were tall and thin, like walking sticks with too many joints. Some were small and round, rolling rather than walking. Some seemed to be made of light, barely visible against the shimmering walls. What Claire did not notice was how every alien they passed moved away from them. The corridor was wide, maybe 20 feet across, but every alien pressed themselves against the far wall. As the humans walked by, some moved behind corners or into side passages. One small creature, seeing them approach, simply froze in place, its body going completely rigid. Ryan, walking near the back of the group, did notice. "Is it just me," he whispered to Lauren, "or are they avoiding us?" Lauren looked around and frowned. "Maybe they're just giving us space. Being polite." "Maybe," Ryan said, but he did not sound convinced. Their quarters were actually quite nice. Each delegation member had a private room with a bed, a desk, and a window looking out into space. The furniture was oddly shaped, clearly designed for different body types, but it was comfortable enough. There was even a small bathroom, though the toilet was definitely designed for something other than humans. "You have 2 hours to rest and prepare," Zilnoth told them. Then the welcome ceremony will begin in the Grand Assembly Hall. I will return to escort you." The alien's tentacles moved in a way that might have been a smile. "Do not worry. Everyone is very excited to meet you." After Zilnoth left, the delegation gathered in Claire's room. Everyone was talking at once, excited and nervous. "Did you see that one alien that looked like a flying jellyfish? The architecture is amazing. I took pictures, but I'm not sure they'll show up right with all this weird lighting." Claire held up her hand for quiet. "Okay, first impressions. How are we doing?" "They seem nice," Vincent said. Zilnoth was very polite. "The translator device works well, though it sounds a bit mechanical." "I think they're scared of us," Ryan said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. What, did no one else notice? They all moved away from us in the corridor. Some of them looked terrified. "They're probably just cautious," Colonel Shaw said. "We're new, unknown. They don't know what we're capable of. It's natural to be wary of strangers. Or maybe we smell weird to them," Lauren suggested, trying to lighten the mood. "Different biology, different pheromones. We probably smell as strange to them as they do to us." That got a few laughs. Claire nodded. "Whatever the reason, we just need to be extra friendly and non-threatening. Smile a lot, keep our movements slow and predictable, show them we're peaceful. Now everyone get ready. We have a ceremony to attend." 2 hours later, Zilnoth returned and led them to the Grand Assembly Hall. The corridor seemed even more crowded now, and again, aliens moved away as they approached. But the humans were too focused on their upcoming presentation to think much about it. The Grand Assembly Hall was spectacular. It was a massive dome, maybe 200 feet high, with walls that seemed to be made of stars. Thousands of aliens filled the space, sitting, standing, floating, or otherwise positioned on multiple levels. The variety was overwhelming. Every color, every shape, every size imaginable. A path opened through the crowd, leading to a raised platform in the center. Zilnoth gestured for them to proceed. Claire led the way, very aware of hundreds or maybe thousands of alien eyes watching their every move. What she did not know was that those eyes were not just curious. They were analyzing. The aliens were looking at the humans' forward-facing eyes, the mark of predators. They were noting the humans' confident stride, the way they looked directly at others, the way they showed their teeth when they smiled. Every gesture that humans considered friendly was being interpreted very differently by the assembled aliens. Claire reached the platform and turned to face the assembly. Her heart was pounding, but she kept her face calm and confident. She had given speeches to presidents and prime ministers. This was just a bigger audience, a much, much bigger audience, made of aliens. Okay, maybe this was a little different. She cleared her throat and began. "Honored members of the Galactic Council, representatives of the assembled species, I am Ambassador Claire Watson of Earth. On behalf of all humanity, I thank you for this invitation and the opportunity to join your community of peaceful, intelligent species." She paused, making eye contact with different parts of the audience, a technique she had learned in diplomatic training. Direct eye contact showed confidence and honesty. She did not know that for most of the species watching, direct eye contact was a threat display, a challenge, something only predators did before attacking. "Humanity is young compared to many of you," Claire continued. "We have only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. We have much to learn. But we come here with open hearts and minds, eager to share our knowledge and learn from yours. We seek friendship, cooperation, and peace." She smiled broadly, showing her teeth. It was meant to be warm and welcoming. But in the audience, several small aliens activated their species' panic responses. Bioluminescent patches flashed warning colors. Protective shells snapped closed. Some simply fainted. "We bring gifts of our art and culture," Claire said, gesturing to the other delegation members. Her hand movements were animated, expressive, showing enthusiasm. In the audience, this was seen as aggressive posturing, the kind of display a predator might make to establish dominance. "We hope this is the beginning of a long and prosperous relationship between Earth and the Galactic Council," Claire concluded. "Thank you for—" The formal dinner was supposed to be a chance for cultural exchange. The grand dining hall was set with hundreds of tables, each one adjusted for the different body types of the assembled species. The humans had been given a table near the center, a position of honor according to Zilnoth. Claire and her delegation sat at their table, surrounded by dishes they had brought from Earth. There was bread, cheese, dried fruits, And yes, some cured meats. They had also brought wine, chocolate, and coffee. These were meant to showcase human culture and cuisine. Other tables displayed alien foods. Some tables had what looked like colored mist in bowls. Others had geometric crystals that apparently dissolved in the mouth. One table had nothing but a bright light that the aliens somehow absorbed through their skin. The variety was fascinating. An alien approached their table, walking on 6 legs and looking something like a crab mixed with a flower. Through the translator, they introduced themselves as Representative Quellon from the Metharian species. "Greetings," Quellon said. "We are curious about your foods. Would you explain them to us?" Vincent, who had taken on the role of cultural ambassador, smiled and gestured to the table. "Of course, this is bread, made from ground wheat mixed with water and yeast. This is cheese made from fermented milk. These dried fruits come from various plants, and this," he picked up a slice of salami, "is cured meat from an animal we call a pig." Quellon's body language changed instantly. Their legs drew together, making them smaller. "Meat, you mean? You consume the flesh of other creatures?" "Well, yes," Vincent said, not understanding the reaction. "Humans are omnivores. We eat both plants and animals. It's how we evolved. Our bodies need certain proteins that we get from meat. You kill other living things to eat them?" Quellon's voice came out higher-pitched. The translator was having trouble with the emotion. Claire realized this was going wrong, but she was not sure how to fix it. "Most of the meat we eat comes from animals raised specifically for that purpose. We also eat a lot of plants. Many humans choose to eat only plants." But Quellon was already backing away. "We must inform the council. This is disturbing." They hurried off, moving faster than Claire would have thought possible. The delegation sat in awkward silence. Ryan broke it first. "Okay, so they're vegetarians, or whatever the alien equivalent is. We probably should have asked about that first. Most spacefaring species probably evolved from prey animals," Colonel Shaw said thoughtfully. "They might not have any concept of eating meat. To them we're like monsters from a nightmare." "Great," Lauren muttered. "First day and we're already the scary monsters. This is going well." The next day things got worse. The delegation was given a tour of the station's recreational facilities. These included zero-gravity sports areas, meditation chambers, and exercise spaces. Kyle Bennett was excited to see the exercise area, having missed his daily runs during the space voyage. "Mind if I do a quick jog?" he asked their guide, a tall, thin alien named Praxis who looked like a walking stick insect. "Of course," Praxis said. "The track is 200 meters around. Please demonstrate your exercise customs." Several aliens had gathered to watch the humans, curious about these new species. Kyle stretched for a moment, then started running. He was not even going particularly fast, just a comfortable pace, maybe 8 miles per hour. He completed 1 lap in about a minute. The watching aliens were silent. Then one of them spoke, their voice translated as shocked. "It moves so fast, and it is not even trying hard." Kyle, not realizing the effect he was having, kept running. He did 5 laps, then stopped, barely breathing hard. He smiled at the aliens. "That felt good. I've been cooped up in the ship too long." Praxis's voice was very quiet. "You could run like that for how long?" "Oh, hours if I needed to," Kyle said cheerfully. "I once ran a marathon, that's about 26 miles. Took me 4 hours, but I finished." The aliens began backing away. One of them actually ran, moving as fast as their 6 legs could carry them. Praxis stayed, but their body language screamed discomfort. "Is something wrong?" Kyle asked, finally noticing the reaction. "You are a pursuit predator," Praxis said, their voice barely above a whisper. "You chase prey until it cannot run anymore, until it collapses from exhaustion. That is how you hunt." Kyle's smile faded. "That's how our ancestors hunted, yes. Thousands of years ago. We don't hunt like that anymore. We have farms and grocery stores now." But Praxis was not listening. They were already moving away, and Kyle was left standing alone on the track, confused and worried. That afternoon, Patrick Cole was asked to demonstrate human security and self-defense techniques. A group of aliens wanted to understand how humans protected themselves. Patrick had agreed, thinking it would be a good way to show human capabilities in a controlled setting. He stood in a demonstration area with Ryan volunteering to help. Patrick showed some basic moves: how to block an attack, how to break a hold, how to disable an attacker without causing serious injury. It was all standard defensive training, nothing aggressive. But to the watching aliens, it looked terrifying. They saw how flexible humans were, able to bend and twist in ways that would break most alien bodies. They saw how strong humans were, lifting and throwing a full-grown human male with relative ease. They saw how quickly humans could move when they wanted to. And humans can throw objects accurately? One alien asked, their translator rendering the question nervously. Sure, Patrick said. He picked up a ball from the sports equipment and threw it across the room, hitting a target on the far wall. Humans are actually really good at throwing. It's something about our shoulder joints and hand-eye coordination. What Patrick did not know was that almost no other species could throw like that. The ability to launch projectiles with deadly accuracy was almost uniquely human among intelligent species. To the aliens watching, Patrick had just demonstrated a weapon capability that most of them could not even imagine. The demonstration ended early when one of the smaller aliens fainted. Patrick and Ryan rushed over to help, but their quick movement only made things worse. More aliens fled, and Patrick was left kneeling next to an unconscious creature, completely bewildered about what had gone wrong. Later that evening, the station's medical officer requested to examine the human delegation. Dr. Zalara was a being that looked somewhat like a jellyfish with too many eyes. They floated rather than walked, and their body was semi-transparent. This is routine, Dr. Zalara assured them. We need to understand your biology to ensure we can provide medical care if needed. Also, the council wishes to know more about your species. Claire agreed, though she was getting a bad feeling about all of this. The medical examinations were thorough. Dr. Zalara used scanners that hummed and glowed, mapping the human's internal structures. As the examination progressed, Dr. Zalara became more and more agitated. Their body changed color, shifting from blue to a worried purple. Finally, they spoke. You have redundant organs, Dr. Zalara said. 2 kidneys, 2 lungs. If one fails, the other continues functioning. Your species can survive significant injury. Is that unusual? Claire asked. Very, Dr. Zalara said. Most species have single organs. Redundancy suggests a species that faces regular physical danger. Predators need redundancy because they fight. Prey do not. Vincent tried to explain. Humans did evolve in a dangerous environment, but that was millions of years ago. We're civilized now. Dr. Zalara continued as if they had not heard. Your healing rate is remarkable. Broken bones can repair in weeks. Cuts heal in days. Your immune system is aggressive, attacking anything foreign. You can survive in temperature ranges from below freezing to extreme heat. You can adapt to different atmospheres and altitudes. You are built to survive. That's good, right? Ryan said. Being hardy is a positive trait. It is terrifying, Dr. Zalara said bluntly. You are persistence predators. I have studied your evolution. Your ancestors hunted by chasing prey for hours, sometimes days, across vast distances. The prey would run until its body gave out, until it physically could not continue, and then your ancestors would catch it. Claire felt cold. That's ancient history. We don't hunt like that anymore. Most humans have never hunted anything. But you could, Dr. Zalara said. Your biology has not changed. You still have the endurance. You still have the instincts. You are apex predators pretending to be civilized, and you want to join a community of prey species. The medical room fell silent. The humans looked at each other, finally understanding. They had thought they were being friendly. They had thought they were showing their culture. But every gesture, every action, every biological trait had been screaming one message to the aliens. Predator. We need to report this to the council, Dr. Zalara said, already moving toward the door. They must decide what to do about the human question. After the medical officer left, the delegation sat together in Claire's quarters. No one knew what to say. They had come here hoping to make friends, to join a galactic community. Instead, they had terrified everyone they met. Well, Colonel, Shaw said finally, his voice dry. At least now we know why they keep avoiding us. Lauren laughed, but it was not a happy sound. We came to a peace meeting and accidentally scared the entire galaxy. That has to be some kind of record. Claire stood and walked to the window, looking out at the Saint. Morning came slowly on Harmony Point. The station did not really have day or night cycles, but it simulated them with gradual lighting changes. Claire had not slept. She had spent the whole night preparing what she would say to the council. Her door chimed. It was Zilnoth, the station coordinator. The alien's tentacles were moving in patterns Claire had learned meant nervousness. Ambassador Watson, I must speak with you. May I enter? Claire opened the door fully. Of course, Zilnoth. Please come in. Zilnoth moved into the room slowly, keeping a careful distance. They had always been polite, but now Claire could see the fear. This gentle creature, who had welcomed them so warmly, was afraid of her. I have been asked to inform you, Zilnoth said, that the Galactic Council held an emergency session last night. They are debating whether humanity should be allowed to join galactic society. Claire's heart sank. I see, what are they saying? Zilnoth's tentacles drooped. Many representatives believe humans are too dangerous. They point to your predator nature, your history of warfare, your physical capabilities. Some are calling for the Sol system to be quarantined, for humanity to be contained on Earth until you evolve into something less threatening. Quarantined, Claire repeated. The word felt heavy. For how long? Thousands of years, perhaps. Until your biology changes. Until you are no longer predators. Zilnoth paused. I am sorry, Ambassador. I argued for you. I told them you seem peaceful. But they are afraid. Claire walked to the window looking out at the beautiful station. So much technology, so much civilization built by species who had never known violence. And humans wanted to be part of it. But maybe humans were too different. Maybe they did not belong here. Zilnoth, she said quietly. Can I ask you something? What do you know about predators? The alien was silent for a moment. We study them, of course. Every world has predators. They are necessary for ecosystem balance. But they are animals driven by instinct. They kill and eat. They do not think or feel. They certainly do not build civilizations. Until now, Claire said. Until humans. Yes, Zilnoth agreed. You are the first. The first predator species to achieve spaceflight. The first to develop language and technology and art. You are unique, and that makes you unpredictable, dangerous. Claire turned to face them. Zilnoth, I need to speak to the full council. Not a report, not a message. Face to face. I need the chance to explain what humans really are. Zilnoth's tentacles moved in what might have been surprise. They will not want to be in the same room as you. Some species cannot even look at humans without triggering panic responses. I know, Claire said, but if they are going to condemn humanity, if they are going to lock us away for thousands of years, they should at least hear our side. Please, Zilnoth, arrange it. The alien was quiet for a long time. Then their tentacles moved in a pattern Claire hoped was agreement. I will try, but I cannot promise they will listen. After Zilnoth left, Claire gathered her delegation. She told them about the council's emergency session, about the proposed quarantine. She watched their faces as the news sank in. So that's it, Ryan said. We came all this way just to be told we're not welcome? Not if I can help it, Claire said firmly. I'm requesting a chance to address the council, to tell them the truth about humanity. What truth? Colonel Shaw asked. They already know we're predators. They know our history. What else is there to say? We tell them about what makes us human, Claire said. Not just our teeth and our strength, but our compassion, our empathy, our ability to choose peace even when we could choose violence. Vincent nodded slowly. We show them that being a predator does not mean being a monster. We show them that humans evolved beyond our biology. Exactly, Claire said. We have the rest of today to prepare. Kyle, Lauren, can you put together a presentation? Videos, images, anything that shows human compassion and cooperation. Vincent, I need you to write a history of human ethical development. Patrick, I need statistics on human violence and how it has declined over the centuries. Everyone else, gather examples of human kindness. Stories, data, anything that proves we're more than just predators. The delegation scattered to work. Claire sat down and began writing her speech. It might be the most important speech in human history. No pressure at all. Hours later, Zilnoth returned with news. The council has agreed to hear you. Tomorrow in the Grand Assembly Hall. All representatives will attend. The alien paused. Ambassador, they are very afraid. Please be careful. Do not make sudden movements. Try to appear as non-threatening as possible. I will, Claire promised. Thank you, Zilnoth. I know you took a risk arranging this. I believe you mean well, Zilnoth said. I hope the council can see that too. That night, Claire called Captain Jake Morrison on the ship. He needed to know what was happening. His face appeared on the screen, looking worried. Ambassador, we've been monitoring the station communications. It doesn't sound good. It's not, Claire admitted. But we have one chance to fix this. If it doesn't work, we might need to leave quickly. I've got the ship ready, Jake said. Say the word and we can be ready to undock in 10 minutes. But Claire, what are we going to tell Earth? That we scared the aliens so badly they want to lock us on our own planet for the next few thousand years? Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Claire said. Keep the engines warm, Captain. But let me try to save this first. The next morning, the delegation walked to the Grand Assembly Hall. Claire noticed there were fewer aliens in the corridors today. Most were staying away, afraid of the predators in their midst. The assembly hall was packed. Every species representative was there, but they had all moved their positions farther from the center platform. The humans would be speaking from inside a large empty space as if they were dangerous animals in a zoo. Claire walked to the platform with her head high. She would not show fear or weakness. The delegation stood behind her in a careful arrangement they had practiced, trying to look approachable but not threatening. A voice spoke from somewhere in the assembly. Ambassador Watson, the council has agreed to hear your statement. Please proceed. Claire took a deep breath. This was it. Everything depended on the next few minutes. She began to speak, her voice steady and clear. Honored representatives, thank you for this opportunity. I know you are afraid of us. I know our biology, our history, everything about us seems designed to terrify you. And I will not insult you by denying the truth. Yes, humans evolved as predators. Yes, we have teeth designed to tear flesh and eyes designed to track prey. Yes, we can run for hours without stopping, and yes, our ancestors hunted by chasing animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. She paused, letting that sink in. But that is not all we are. Humans are more than our biology. We are more than our evolutionary history. Let me tell you about humanity's greatest achievement. It is not our technology or our art or our science. It is our choice to be better than our nature. Vincent stepped forward with a tablet displaying a timeline. 10,000 years ago, humans were tribal. We fought constantly. Violence was common. But we developed something. We developed ethics, philosophy, religion, systems of law. We looked at our violent nature and said, this is not who we want to be. And slowly, over thousands of years, we changed, Claire continued. Not our biology, but our behavior. We created rules against killing. We developed empathy for others. We learned to cooperate on massive scales. Yes, we still had wars. Yes, we still had violence. But it decreased. Every century, every generation, humans became less violent and more cooperative. Lauren activated the display screen behind them. Images appeared, carefully chosen to show humanity's gentle side. Humans caring for animals, doctors treating patients, teachers with children, rescue workers saving people from disasters, families laughing together, artists creating beauty. Look at us, Claire said. Really look. Yes, we can be dangerous, but we choose not to be. Every day, billions of humans wake up and choose kindness over cruelty, choose cooperation over conflict, choose peace over violence. We are predators who domesticated ourselves. Kyle spoke next. Humans do not just care about other humans. We care about all life. We have laws protecting animals. We create nature preserves. We rescue endangered species. We keep predators like wolves and lions as beloved companions. We form emotional bonds with creatures we could easily kill. That is not predator behavior. That is something unique. The images changed, showing humans with pets, dogs and cats sleeping peacefully with human families, birds perched on human hands. Even images of wildlife rehabilitation, humans nursing injured animals back to health. Our greatest strength is not our teeth or our endurance, Claire said. It is our capacity for empathy. We can put ourselves in others' positions. We can feel others' pain. We can care about beings completely different from us. That empathy made us civilized. And it is why you should not fear us. Patrick stepped forward. You are right to be cautious. Humans are physically capable of violence, but we are also capable of incredible self-control. We train ourselves in combat not to hurt others, but to protect them. We study violence to understand it, to prevent it, to stop it when we must. Ryan spoke, his young voice earnest. We came here hoping to join you, to learn from you, to share with you, not to conquer or threaten. The silence in the Grand Assembly Hall stretched on. Claire could hear her own heartbeat. The delegation stood frozen, waiting for any response from the thousands of aliens surrounding them. Finally, a voice spoke. It came from one of the larger aliens, a being that looked like a tree with many branches. The translator rendered their words as thoughtful and calm. Ambassador Watson, you speak of choice, of humans choosing to overcome their violent nature. But how do we know this choice is permanent? What prevents you from reverting to predator behavior? Claire had expected this question. Nothing prevents it except ourselves. We are not perfect. Individual humans still commit acts of violence, but our society condemns it. We have laws, consequences, social pressure. The vast majority of humans never hurt anyone in their entire lives. We police ourselves. Another voice, high-pitched and nervous. But your capability remains. A human could kill most of us with ease. How can we trust you will not? Patrick answered this one. You are right. Most humans probably could hurt most of you physically, but capability is not intention. I have been trained to fight. I could hurt someone, but I choose not to unless I have no other option. Every day, millions of strong humans live alongside weaker humans and they do not hurt them. We protect them. That is what civilization means to us. A third voice, this one sounding curious. You say you care for other species? That you form emotional bonds with animals. Why? Lauren smiled gently. Because we can. Because it makes us happy. Because empathy is not limited to our own species. We see a creature in pain, and we feel that pain. We see a creature afraid, and we want to comfort it. We cannot explain it better than that. It is simply who we are. The questions continued for an hour. The council asked about human history, about wars and conflicts. They asked about human crime rates. They asked about human emotions and motivations. The delegation answered honestly, not hiding the dark parts of human nature, but always emphasizing the progress, the constant effort to be better. Finally, Dr. Zalara floated forward. The medical officer's body was still purple with worry, but they seemed calmer than before. I have been studying the data you provided, the images and videos. I have also been analyzing your brain scans from the medical examination. Claire's breath caught. This could be very good or very bad. And what did you find, doctor? Something remarkable, Dr. Zalara said. Human brains have structures we have never seen before. Neurological pathways that allow you to form emotional connections with virtually any species, even non-sentient ones. You have what we might call universal empathy. You can care about anything that lives. The doctor's body shifted from purple to blue, a sign of reduced anxiety. This explains much. Yes, you are predators. Yes, you have the capability for violence. But you also have an almost compulsive need to care for others, to protect the vulnerable, to form bonds across species boundaries. This combination is unique in all the galaxy. Is that good? Ryan whispered to Lauren. She shrugged, hoping it was. Dr. Zalara continued. The Galactic Council has a problem. For 3,000 years we have maintained peace among our member species, but we have no way to enforce it. We are all prey species. None of us are fighters. When disputes arise, we have nothing but words to resolve them, and sometimes words are not enough. The doctor turned to address the full assembly. I propose that we do not quarantine humanity. I propose we embrace them. Not as members, not yet, but as peacekeepers. Their physical capabilities combined with their empathetic nature makes them perfect for preventing conflict and protecting the vulnerable. They are predators, yes, but they are predators who care about prey, and that makes them exactly what we need. The assembly erupted. Lights flashed. Sounds filled the air. The translator struggled to keep up with the sudden flood of voices. Some aliens seemed excited. Others remained fearful. The debate was intense. Zilnoth approached the human delegation. The council must deliberate. This will take time. Perhaps days. You should return to your quarters and wait. Thank you, Zilnoth, Claire said, for everything. For giving us this chance. The alien's tentacles moved in a pattern that might have been a smile. You surprised me, Ambassador. All of you. I expected monsters. I found people, That is worth fighting for. The next 3 days were the longest of Claire's life. The delegation stayed in their quarters, only leaving for meals. They could hear the debates happening throughout the station. Arguments in corridors. Emergency sessions in meeting rooms. The entire galaxy was discussing what to do about humanity. Captain Morrison called twice a day for updates. Earth was getting nervous. The whole planet was watching, waiting to hear if humanity would be welcomed or exiled. The pressure was enormous. On the third day, Zilnoth came to get them. The council has reached a decision. They wish to present it formally. The delegation followed Zilnoth back to the Grand Assembly Hall. This time the atmosphere was different, less fearful, more curious. Aliens still kept their distance, but they were watching the humans with interest rather than terror. A representative Claire had not seen before floated to the center platform. They looked like a cloud of glowing gas held together by some invisible force. Their voice was deep and resonant, needing no translator. Ambassador Watson and delegation of Earth, the Galactic Council has deliberated carefully. We acknowledge your words. We acknowledge your evidence. We acknowledge that humanity is not what we first feared. You are something we did not think possible. Predators with conscience. Hunters with heart. Claire held her breath. This was it. The moment that would decide humanity's future. The Council votes to grant humanity provisional membership in galactic society. The representative announced, "You will not be quarantined. You will not be exiled. Instead, you will be welcomed, but with conditions." Relief flooded through Claire, but she stayed focused. What conditions? First, humanity must establish a peacekeeping force. When disputes arise between species that cannot be resolved through diplomacy, human peacekeepers will intervene. Your presence alone may prevent conflicts. Your unique combination of capability and empathy makes you suited for this role. The representative continued. Second, Earth must create cultural exchange programs. Other species will visit your world and humans will visit theirs. We must learn to understand each other. Fear comes from ignorance. Knowledge brings acceptance. Third, humanity's membership is provisional for 50 of your Earth years. During this time, the Council will monitor human behavior. If you prove trustworthy, full membership will be granted. If not, we will reassess. Claire looked at her delegation. They were all nodding. These terms were more than fair. They were generous. On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we accept these conditions. We will prove ourselves worthy of your trust. The assembly responded. This time there was applause, or the alien equivalent. Lights flashed in welcoming colors. Sounds of approval filled the hall. It was not universal acceptance, but it was a start. Over the next week, the delegation worked with council representatives to establish the framework for human peacekeeping. The details were complex, but the basic idea was simple. When conflicts arose, humans would be deployed as neutral mediators and, if necessary, as enforcers of council decisions. Patrick was particularly excited about this. Finally, a purpose for all those military skills that doesn't involve war. We can use our training to prevent conflict instead of creating it. Cultural exchange programs were also established. Earth would send teachers, artists, and diplomats to other worlds. In return, aliens would visit Earth, experiencing human culture firsthand. It would be strange for both sides, but necessary. The day before the delegation was scheduled to return to Earth, something unexpected happened. Zilnoth visited Claire in her quarters. "Ambassador, I wanted to thank you," the alien said. "You changed my mind about humanity. I thought predators could only destroy. You showed me they can also protect." Claire smiled. "You gave us a chance when everyone else wanted to lock us away. That took courage." "I would like to request assignment as liaison to Earth," Zilnoth said. "Someone must coordinate between your world and the Council. I believe I understand humans better than most." And the alien's tentacles moved shyly. "I have grown fond of you. All of you. We would be honored," Claire said warmly. "Earth will need friends out here. And you have been a good friend to us." The return journey to Earth felt different from the trip out. The delegation was relaxed, celebrating their success. They had done it. They had represented humanity to the galaxy and secured a place among the stars. When Earth's herald finally entered orbit around their home planet, the sight of that blue sphere brought tears to Claire's eyes. She had left Earth as an ambassador. She was returning as the person who opened the galaxy to humanity. The welcome on Earth was overwhelming. Millions celebrated in the streets. The delegation was treated as heroes. Claire gave speeches explaining what had happened, how humanity had accidentally terrified the galaxy, and how they had won acceptance through honesty and compassion. 6 months later, the first human peacekeeping force deployed to a border dispute between two herbivorous species. The conflict had been escalating for months, with both sides refusing to back down. Diplomacy had failed. The humans arrived in a small ship. 10 peacekeepers trained in conflict resolution and nonviolent interview